Welcome back. Going door to door for free candy can be a dream come true for kids, but can be a nightmare for parents who are too scared to let their kids out of sight. But one expert says Halloween is actually the perfect opportunity to give kids the freedom they need and crave.
Yeah, once they're old enough, of course. Joining us now live on Zoom is Shama Hyder, CEO of Zen Media, which tracks trends in technology. Good morning to you.
Good morning and happy almost Halloween.
Yes, we're so excited. For some parents, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking to let go of their kids, to go out in the neighborhood by themselves to trick or treat. You say that technology can be a real big help. Can you talk about that?
Yes, it can. And I say this both as a leader in tech and as a mom of three little ones, two human babies and a fur baby, and they're all going to go trick-or-treating. So here's where technology can be so helpful. Think about it in two categories and kind of what scares parents most, right? One is planning, which is where do I go trick-or-treating? Sometimes a neighborhood's really easy, but other times they're just not sure if their neighborhood is the right neighborhood, perhaps, or the safest one for trick-or-treating. And then the other is tracking. So once my kid is off on their own, if they're a little bit older, how do I handle that? And technology can actually help us solve both these challenges. So the first is planning. The good news is you have plenty of apps these days that have Halloween ready maps. So if you use anything like Nextdoor or even Google, there's apps like Proxy that actually let you create your own map or overlay it on a pre-existing Halloween map. That means you can actually choose which houses are safe and okay for your kids to visit. So this is a really nice way to plan out, your Halloween trick-or-treat loop for your kids. The other side is, of course, tracking. And so there's two ways to do this. If your kids are a little bit older and have a smartwatch and aren't going to lose it, that's probably your safest bet, right? Because you can track it. And if for some reason they get into trouble, they can always call you. The other, if they're littles like mine are, you can put air tags. And I do love air tags because you can stick it right into their trick-or-treat bag and they're not going to let that candy bag out of their sight.
Yeah, when you're talking about keeping tabs on the kids, what's your top recommendation for parents who do want to, sort of track where their kids are at, but they don't want to be, hovering. They don't want to be one of those helicopter parents on Halloween night?
Yes. So air tags are a great way, especially if you don't know the terrain so well. The other nice thing that I've seen some neighborhoods doing is using an app like Proxy, where they have a map and the entire neighborhood sort of has come together to make sure that the kids have a safe route, and you can see which houses are on that map. So there's two ways to do this.
You also mentioned something interesting about using Google Maps to create something called a closed loop. I've never heard that term before. What is that? And tell us how that works.
Yes, so using Google Maps, of course, can make it really easy because you have Street View. And basically, this is like if you think about Monopoly back in the day, don't pass go, right? So you can actually track the path that you want your kids to take and say, don't pass the purple house on this street. I don't know if there are any purple houses anymore, but you get the idea. So it's basically making sure that they understand where the landmarks are and the areas that they actually need to stay within. And so what this does is it gives you a little bit of peace of mind because you have really clear boundaries. And two, it allows your kids a little bit of autonomy, which, gosh, we know that they really need right now in a way that's still safe. And so Halloween's sort of the perfect time to try this out.
Some parents might be hearing us talk about these tech solutions and think, oh, it's just adding to, kids' screen time. How do these Halloween safety strategies help reduce technology dependence?
Well, for starters, they get you away from the screen, right? You are out and about in the real world. You're leaving, hopefully, your iPads and your television behind. But here's the thing, right? Technology isn't going away. And so part of, I think, what we really need to do is teach our young people and perhaps our older adults too on how to be smart about this, how to set good boundaries, how to use technology for good. And again, Halloween ends up becoming the perfect opportunity that really lets you do that. Just like we don't say, sugar's bad, so no trick-or-treating. I think most parents are out there allowing their kids to do a little bit of trick-or-treating, but we do have the conversation with their kids about how much candy is appropriate to eat on the first night versus how many pieces might you want to save for another night.
So many great tips. I really like the air tag and the candy bag one. I'm going to save that one for later. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Shama Hyder from Zen Media.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back on ARC Florida.
Hi, I'm attorney